Hello everyone and welcome to this Lyricland video with me, Mr Linham, where today we're doing some extra work surrounding the film music project. In this video we're going to explore how film music has worked from way back in the first days of film, and we're going to have a look at some new tasks and challenges to see if we can become film stars in the old and traditional styles. We're going to start off by looking at the history of film, and the first ever film made was way back in 1878. I can't believe it's so old. The second oldest film is actually only 2.11 seconds long, I know. And it's called The Roundhay Garden Scene from 1888, so 10 years after the first known that we've still got a copy of, which is our horse film. And this 2-second clip was actually filmed up in Leeds in the north of England, and we're going to watch it on loop a few times and you'll see someone walk along. And that is a very exciting historical clip. Another film clip that I really like is from 1895, and this is The Arrival of a Train, it's called, because it's literally a train arriving. Now, I know none of these clips look that exciting, but they're groundbreaking historical clips. So hopefully it starts to show you quite how far film has come. This leads us now on to our first task. Our first task is I want you, with a partner, to create a 3-second image or slight movement that you think would be an entertaining first film. There was a man called Thomas Edison that did a lot of the first filming, and he set up the first ever film kind of cinema company, and we're going to see if we can guess some of the same ideas that he came up with. So you've got 5 to 10 minutes with a partner to have a go at coming up with what you think a really great first film could be. And then maybe with your class you could share some of them. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Get filming! Hopefully you've had fun creating your 3-second images and you've shared them with your class. My favourite Thomas Edison one is he actually filmed someone sneezing, which was a big deal back in the day. So if one of you said that, you get 47 Mr Linham points. They're entirely worthless. Achoo! We're now going to move on to the second part of our lesson, which is to explore what silent movies are. Silent movies, just like the ones we've all seen before, are movies that have no sound that is recorded at the same time as them. What would happen is an orchestra, or often just a piano player, would record a part and then they would be put together. So rather than you be able to record all of the sounds that you hear, no, we can't do that. We haven't got the technology. So in the cinemas, there'd be someone like me playing whatever random stuff they like along with the film, or there'd be a pre-recorded orchestral piece that would get played along with the film separately, and they had to carefully line them up to start at the same time. There are two really famous silent movie stars, and we're going to have a look at some of their work. The first one is a man called Mr Keaton. He, in many ways, is the first ever stuntman, because lots of the films that he was in, he did really, really dangerous stunts, such as this one. Should we watch that again? Because it's just great, isn't it? So you can see there that he stood in front of the house and the house is falling down around him. And there's loads and loads of great clips, and we're going to watch a few of them now, done by Mr Keaton, of him doing some really dangerous stunts. Health and safety didn't exist back then. This is pure danger. Let's enjoy. Hopefully you had fun watching Buster Keaton do some really dangerous things. I really enjoy all the stuff where he's building the house. And that thing on the front of the train, oh my goodness, is that dangerous. That is so dangerous. Don't try this at home. Let's have a look at our other star of silent movie. It is, of course, Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin is really, really famous, not only for his iconic look with his moustache and his bowler hat and his funny walk, but he was very much the over-the-top theatrical mime artist of silent movies. And all of this style of filming comes out of clowning from the circus. And in 1928, he starred in a film called The Circus, and we're going to watch a little 4-minute clip of him just being very entertaining. So you've got a full Hollywood orchestra, and you've got Charlie Chaplin running around a circus being chased by police, whilst another thief is already being chased by police. I really hope you enjoy this. It's a great 4-minute clip. Have fun. Oh, isn't that just glorious? I love that. Now, as filming developed, people started to make films about all sorts of different things. And there was one film in 1912 that caused a bit of a stir, which was a film about Jesus' life and the portrayal of Jesus. And lots of people said at the time that this isn't allowed. You can't put Jesus in a film. And that seems ridiculous to us now, but back then it was a big deal and all the British papers complained about it. And that led to creating the British Board of Film Classifications. I think I've got that right. It's a very fancy title. And what they do is every film that's made, they put a rating on it. They might say it's a PG rating, parental guidance. They might say that it's an 18 and that actually, unless you're 18, you shouldn't be watching the film. And I hope you lot haven't been watching films that you're not supposed to. No, 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 no. Let's now get into task number 2. In task number 2, I want you to create a silent movie. Now, we've already looked at making like a 2-3 second moment that could be repeated over and over again in our first task, but now I want you to create a silent movie. I'm going to improvise you an accompaniment, which you can listen to a few times over and over again, and then you as a class can either create a movie or you can do that in individual little groups. And this is a little bit of drama. We do like a bit of drama because, of course, silent movies are very theatrical because it has to be over-the-top acting. If someone falls over, they don't just fall over. They would go, "Whoa!" It's over the top. It's exciting. So here is your silent movie accompaniment. Here we go. Whoa, that was dramatic, wasn't it? Hopefully you can listen to that little improvisation a few times over and over again to see if you can create your own silent film. What's happening while that piece of music is playing? Get to work. Well, I'm sure you've created some fantastic silent movies. Did anyone put any lines in? Because that was cheating. Hashtag no talking yet. Because now we need to move into 1927. 1927 is a big moment for films because it's the creation of the talkies. This is the first time that we are able to record not just the visual, but the audio as well. So video and audio. This video of me right now, when I'm speaking, you can see me speaking at the same time that my voice is moving and the sound is captured at the same time. This was revolutionary in 1927. Hard to believe now because we've got that technology on our telephones, of all places. So in 1927, the first film that ever did this came out and it was called The Jazz Singer. And it was by a man called Al Jolson, who had a very famous singing voice for being really, really wide vibrato. That means the voice wobbles and he'd go, "Mommy," like that. That's not actually a terrible impression. 1927 is also an important year for animated films because Walt Disney released the first ever full film animated feature, all done with drawn animation. And it's, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's hard to believe that that film is coming up for its 100th birthday in, at this point, 6 years' time. Amazing. The first ever film that was entirely computer-generated images that was effectively an animated film was another Disney company, Pixar, and of course it's Toy Story in 1995. This is the first time the whole film is made with CGI. How exciting! So back in 1927, as Hollywood started making the first talkie films, or normal films as we would call them, but they called them the talkies because of the talking being synced up with the video, they actually put together something called the Oscars. The Oscars is not the real name, they're actually called Academy Awards. So we need to get on to task 3 to find out about the Oscars. The Oscars are to celebrate Hollywood. So let's imagine you are the best actor, you've acted in a film, you were the best that year, you get given a golden trophy. Not unlike that one there. And what we're going to do for our task number 3 is we're going to create our own acceptance speeches. You've got 5 to 7 minutes to have a go. You can either write it down or you can think about all the people that you would thank in your speech. And then maybe within your class, you could have different people come up and hold like a ruler or something and pretend it's an Oscar and say thank you to your dear old Nan and to your hairdresser and great Aunt Ruth for all of the fantastic things they brought into your life so as that you can say thank you to. Yeah, don't get emotional because then they start playing the music to send you off. Yeah, so no emotions. Have fun making your Oscar award-winning speeches. Yes! I'm sure you've created some incredible Oscar speeches. Did anyone get played off for talking too long? Because if they got a bit gabby, yeah, we need to just play them off. It's like the music starts rising. It's always like strings and things starts very low. And then they hear the music, they go, oh, but I'm not finished yet. I've still got people I want to thank. I want to thank my nan's aunts, great Ruth's hairdressers. And then they're literally taken off. Right, let's get on to this week's Foley Challenge. Our Foley Challenge this week is to look at 5 very, very famous film sound effects. You're going to recognise some of them, but some of them are going to be brand new. So let's start with the first one. Number 1. Number 1 comes from a 1951 film called Distant Drums, and this is the sound effect. This sound effect is known as the Wilhelm scream, and sound artists and Foley artists have taken the sound out of that film, and what they've done is they've used it in loads of different places. Let's watch the clip of the film where that sound comes from. Did you manage to spot that sound? Let's listen to it in isolation again. Now the reason this is a really important sound is because that scream is so over the top. All he is just walking through a river, like what's the big deal? Oh, it's a crocodile. Like, that's not the scream that you give when you get eaten by a crocodile, is it? I don't know. I've never been eaten by a crocodile. So that sound effect is actually used in lots of films. Now let's watch this clip from Toy Story, that 1995 classic that we talked about earlier, and see if you can spot the Wilhelm scream.
I don't see anything.
He's there. Just keep looking.
Did you spot it? Did you hear it as Buzz fell out the window? That sound. That is the Wilhelm scream, and that is used in so many films. It's in Star Wars and Jurassic Park and loads of those big blockbuster movies use it. Indiana Jones has it in every single one of them, I think. There's plenty of YouTube videos where you can watch every film use of that sound effect. I know, how cool is that? The Wilhelm scream. Number 2 is that 1977 classic sound of the lightsaber. All of the lightsaber sounds in Star Wars are made by a television interference. And what they do is they put another television next to it and they move it closer and further away. And the sound of the aerials on an old school television working against each other, that is the sound of a lightsaber. Let's have a listen. I mean, it doesn't sound as cool without like Mace Windu running around with his purple sword. But there we are. That's a lightsaber. It's a cool sound, isn't it? Number 3, 1984. This is the sound of a Honda Civic on some gravel. Honda Civic is a car. Let's listen to the sound. Then see if you can work out what film it's from. That's a very interesting sound, isn't it? A very interesting sound. That, my friends, is the sound of the boulder in Indiana Jones. Let's have a look at the clip now. So the really interesting thing about this sound is that the sound that you're seeing is not the sound that you're hearing, because that doesn't sound like a car when it's got the clip going, but it does sound like a car when you listen to it by itself, or maybe it doesn't. Up to you. Number 4, I love this one, is this sound. Special effects. That, of course, is the sound of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park in 1993. Now, all of the sounds that we heard with all of the different dinosaurs in that film are actually animal sounds that have all been mixed together. I have a list, and my list of animal sounds that are mixed together is this. What have we got? We've got tortoise, horse, hawk, goose, rattlesnake, swan, dolphins, dogs, donkeys, owls, foxes and cows are all mixed together to make all the different sounds. That's quite a list of animals, isn't it? Who thought a tortoise and a rattlesnake sound would get put together? Madness! But that's the iconic sounds of our beloved dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, and indeed every other Jurassic Park 12, whatever we're on now. Our final sound effect for this week is this one. Special effects. I love that sound effect because that is the sound, and it's only known as the sound that it kind of sounds like, which is Brahm. This is called a Brahm, and it was made famous in 2010 by the film Inception. And in that film, particularly the trailer, there's so many low kind of growls of brass that it's become a sound that filmmakers now call a Brahm. And if you watch loads and loads and loads of film trailers, from modern day Batman films to the Avengers, anything that's a bit scary or a bit ominous or with monsters or anything a bit magical, you will hear Brahm sounds in there. So the next time you watch a film trailer, see if you can spot that sound hidden in there. I'm having too much fun with the special effects. Right, that's more than enough of me doing impressions of sound effects. Let's move on to the listening project.
If you've got ears on your head and your brain in between, you're ready for a little bit of listening.
Ning, 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 listening. In this week's listening project, we're going to listen to a very, very famous piece of music from the opening of one of the earliest horror films called Psycho. Now, we're not going to watch the film because obviously it's very scary and Mr Linham is a delicate flower. I can't do scary, I really can't. So we're just going to listen to the music and we're going to think about these 3 questions. Question number 1, which part of the orchestra is playing most of this piece of music? Is it the strings, the brass, the woodwind, or the percussion? Number 2, if we have to describe the pitches we're listening to, are they consonant sounds or dissonant sounds? Hopefully we can remember that consonant sounds go together and dissonant sounds don't. Number 3, we're going to describe the timbre of the instruments. Are they bright sounds or dark sounds? Clean or dirty sounds? Rough or smooth sounds? Or any other describing words that you can come up with. If you're watching this on Lyricland, you'll find a Spotify playlist and you can listen to this. Or if you're watching it on YouTube, you can look below and in the description there's a link to this recording that you can find on YouTube. Just make sure that you don't watch the film because it's scary, and just don't watch it. Really don't watch it. Get listening. Well, hopefully you've had a relative fun listening to that very uncomfortable piece of music. Question 1 was which area of the orchestra or which team of instruments in the orchestra was doing most of the work there. If you haven't discussed it, discuss it now. But hopefully you've said the strings. Yes, that is the strings, led mainly by the violins and the violas, with the cellos and the double basses doing the main part of the work in this early part of the prelude. Prelude is a fancy classical music term meaning the first part or the first piece. Secondly, was it consonant or dissonant? Discuss it now, but I think you should all get this one. It was, of course, dissonant. Yeah, those sounds were not nice sounds. This was not a major key, this was a minor key, and it wasn't just any old minor key, it was minor keys with additional chromatic notes. major, minor, chromatic note. It's adding even more darkness to the sound. And that leads us on to the third part, which was the timbre. Bright, dark, rough, smooth, clean, dirty. What sounds and words did we hear? Hopefully you've said, discuss it now if you need to, but hopefully you've said that it was dark sounding, and it was rough sounding, and it was dirty sounding, and you've probably come up with some amazing describing words too. In fact, maybe try and come up with your best describing words of like foreboding or ominous to describe that piece of music. There's so many to choose from. Hopefully you're not too scared, and now we can play a game of Don't Clap This One Back.
Don't clap this one back, don't clap this one back.
I know we love Don't Clap This One Back, so rhythms to remember. We've got Don't Clap This One Back. We've got Never Clap This One Back. And finally, we've got I'm Not Clapping This One Back. Let's see if you can remember all of those as we go. Here we go. Da, 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 da. I'm not clapping this one back. Da, 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 da. Don't clap this one back. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Never clap this one back. Da, 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 da. Never clap this one back. I'm not clapping this one back. Da, 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 da. Don't clap this one back. Well, I'm sure you had great fun today doing some drama activities, and hopefully we now have a better understanding of film music and its history from way back in the 1870s with that first horse film, to moving into the silent movies with Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin doing their stunts and slapstick humour, into the talkies of the 1920s, and then looking at how the sound of film has changed and developed with computer graphics, and with new sounds made by sound and Foley artists. I think we've done loads of great work today, so really, really well done. If you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure that you like it and you subscribe to the channel, and visit lyricland.co.uk for more primary school music resources. I'll see you for another video sometime very soon. And hopefully, if you've got this all correct, now you'll be able to ace my film music quiz. Best of luck, no mistakes. See you soon. Bye!